Deeper for their stories. We want to get in. We want to be able to connect with them. When we read a story about an ancestor, it puts us in a place of, yes, I belong. It puts us in a place of, yes, I am strong. My ancestor so-and-so did this, I can do it too. My ancestor so-and-so is here, she got my back. I remember how Grandma used to come and she used to just put her arms around me and it felt so good. She's gone now, but when I pour libation and I think about her, I can feel the warmness of her touch. This is libation. This is the time when you think about what and who has inspired you. As we live this life, we live it righteously so that when we are gone, somebody's going to call our names too. So that we won't be forgotten. We don't want to forget any of our ancestors. But you know, there are certain people that have come before you, and you listen at their names, and it just reminds you of a joke, or it reminds you of something that they were able to put you on a path of going the right way. Everybody has a story like that. That is the relationship of humankind. So we want to be able to connect with those who have gone on. We don't want to sit in sorrow all the time. We want to connect and communicate with them. And we do this by pouring libation. Because every time I hear the name of my grandmother, I think she is the one who, even though we did not talk every day, she lived in Texas, I lived here. Even though we didn't talk every day, I knew that I belonged to my family because I knew who she was. And I knew that in my family was a woman who was a teacher, was a woman who was a poet, who was a woman who was dedicated to her family. And I realized that that's the same type of person that I am. And I feel connected to my family because of that. So then I call her name, Granny Love Lady. And when I think of, and you can also think of people who just their stories might inspire you. When I think of Bob Marley, I think of someone who was rough and tough. But the first thing and the most thing that he talked about all the time was his relationship with the Most High. No matter what was going on, no matter who was talking about him, no matter who was saying what he was doing was right or wrong, he talked about his relationship with the Most High, and he did not waver from that. Robert Ness Amaya. I also think about my grandfather. My grandfather was a reverend. Now, I never thought about that until I became a minister myself. And right the day that I became a minister, the day I was being ordained, I sat up in a room and he came to me and he said, "We've got your back." And I turned around, and in my mind's eye, saw a multitude of my ancestors standing with him in the front, proud of his granddaughter. To my grandfather Love Lady. And so, briefly, I want to open it up to you, and I want you just to think of those people that were inspiring to you. Think of those people that were, when you were sick, they made you feel like, I can still get up and do this. Those people who, as women, when we have children, sometimes we're in the midst of that state when we get ready to push, and it feels like it's too much. And we can call upon our ancestors, and we call upon, I just had a baby too, in December. I remember clearly. And you have to call upon your ancestors in that position, in that moment. And they will come to you and they will guide you. And they say, baby, if I did it, you can do it too. I'm going to give you strength. Now push. And you're able to bring life into this world. Think about those people who, when you were scared or feeling alone, think about their words that came to you that was comforting. And now, I want all of you all. We may not have time to give one person, but we're going to all start calling out names. And I'm going to pour the libation for those names. And I want you to think of those people and their stories and how they made you feel. I want you to give that power. And they will come join us. And they will come bless this event. And they will be sitting can start calling out names. Give that power of love. Give that power that runs through our veins. We want to take this time to think about those things and understand the power that runs through us because of them. The understanding that we know that those of us who we've lost from the middle passage, coming from home to here, we want to think about them, we want to acknowledge them, and we want to say the collective Ashe.
always been willing and willing to share her story. And she walks the walk and talks the talk. So she's up there suggesting things for people to do, but she's also doing them herself. She's gone through a lot of challenges with relationships, just having children, the everyday living life, and working on a job that you're not necessarily appreciating. And she just hung in there and kept on. She kept on doing her YouTubes, and she kept on growing and growing. And she used to be a little bit bigger, and I see her get smaller and smaller because she started eating raw foods and learning from the spiritual masters. She's gone to a lot of the, I get all excited. She's taken a lot of salt baths and using essential oils and crystals to facilitate her healing. And she had a heavy cycle and just came out challenges. So she went to the doctors. Wrong. She went to the doctors and they suggested, what do you think they suggested?
Direct. Take everything else.
And just all kind of medication, drugs, you name it. So she took it upon herself to go within. The power is within. If you sit still and be quiet. And a lot of times we're in our cycle and we just be busy working, doing everything. No! It's supposed to relax when you're in a cycle. Because it's all about you. And she talks about this. So I'm really excited that you all have come out and brought family members, brought friends. And when you leave this place, you want to go out there and educate the young people coming out, because they don't know this. It's a whole other generation, and they don't know this. And you want to push them in the direction of Nubia and looking at her YouTube, because she has some powerful YouTube. And I want to know, how many wild women who run with the womb, can you all stand up? Okay, I just wanted, because I kept on hearing people come in and they said, Nubia. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a part of that and check it out. Also, for those of you who have your cell phones on, please turn them off or turn them down or vibrate. And so, okay, let me, today, Nubia is the founder and creator of the Blackberry Beauty Holistic Academy. And she's also a client herself. I like that. And like I said, she's just dealt with a lot of health challenges, but she has arrived. And she has some great information she wants to share with you. And just to give you some of the topics that are on YouTube, yoni power, power of the menstrual cycle, and raw foods play a part. Shake it out, and how to release toxins. Think and grow happy now. And she just has a lot of great YouTubes. So I just want you all to please stand up, and let's give her a wonderful round of applause.
Thank you. Okay, so before I get started, I have to definitely pay homage and respect to my elders. So if you feel okay with it, if the oldest person in the room would give me permission to do this talk tonight, I would really appreciate it. So who feels like they're the oldest person in the room? And if you are, I'll just do this. Maybe if the oldest person in the room, I would ask you to please give me the permission to be able to do this talk today. And a couple of people, or 3 or 4, everybody could yell "Ashe." And if anybody is opposed, maybe that's easier. If anybody is opposed to me speaking today, speak now or forever hold your peace. You can make a comment on the YouTube channel, but don't do it here. No. Anybody? All right, let's get started. So let me tell you about these cheers and what I was thinking. You know, I remember, and let me tell you a little bit about me, but I want to tell you this story. I used to work in the Oakland Unified School District. I used to work inside the schools. But I wasn't a teacher in a sense that I went and taught like math or arithmetic. I didn't even have a college degree. I actually came in teaching a program called in-house suspension. We didn't, yeah. And we didn't kind of create, it was me and another brother named E.W. Wainwright of a group called African Roots of Jazz, very popular drummer in the Bay Area. And the idea the school had was, as many of you know, if a child has to be suspended or go home, the school loses money for that day. So their idea was, why not suspend them in a sense, but let them come out of the classroom and into the portal. And it happened to be, you know, portals have numbers, portal 1, 2, ours happened to be portal 7. And 7 is the number of the Spirit. Yeah. And I realized that these kids were, it kind of got out of hand because they was trying to get out after a while because they wanted to come see Mama Nubia. They was like, I'm going to see Mama Nubia, I'm going to act up. But what they really wanted was, they wanted to be hugged, y'all. They wanted to be loved. And they wanted to be loved and hugged by somebody that looked like them. And so, but I had to be clever because the idea was, we didn't really want them to miss the schoolwork. Well, the teachers didn't want that. So I had to say, okay, show me what you were working on in class. And I had to creatively turn it into a fun and exciting game. Whether it was math or reading. I worked in Black alternative schools or Afrocentric schools in the Bay Area prior to that for many years. And I learned a lot about how we learned. And a lot of it was very visual. If I said to the child, tell me what 3 plus 3 is, a lot of them couldn't come up with it. But if I took 3 apples and put right here, and then 3 apples right here and said, what is 3.3? They said 6 every time. So I started using these kind of techniques. So I noticed that I started running after-school programs, and I noticed that they would always, they had a long day, just like y'all. You know how y'all work all day and you tired? Them kids is tired too. They got to deal with Sally and the rest of them. Okay? Sally don't know nothing about, Sally was crying in my room too. I had to, could you let the kids sit down? Sally was like, I don't know, Sister Nubia, Mama Nubia, I didn't know what to do. They were older than me. And so they got to deal with Sally, and I understood that. I said, God dang, you got to deal with Sally, they jacked up, they stressed. So they would come in and be like, but they, you know how we do, and unfortunately, Black folks, when we angry, we take it out on other Black people. Yeah. Even the kids do it. So they mad, be like, JoJo said, and Devon said, so they come, they would run into the cafeteria. This is an after-school program I had, I did a lot. And they'd be like, JoJo said, and Shauna said, and we had an argument at lunchtime. Mom, Nubia, what we gonna do? And I said, I got an idea. I swear to God, y'all, I make up everything as I'm talking. I don't even know what the next word's gonna be. I just start talking, be like, girl, God, ancestors, just give me the next word. I said, baby, we're gonna do this game. No, this course called African Village. And this is what we're gonna do. Well, the kids loved it. I said, we're gonna take chairs, we're gonna put it in the front. We only have like 10 minutes because it's an after-school program. And they have to go to their specific classes at a certain time. So they would run up and I'd be like, and this is what we're gonna do. So y'all are the cafeteria. We got 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, sitting at the lunch table, each grade at the lunch table. So the kids would come up, and if there's the audience, it'll be 2 kids. So I say, you sit here, and you sit here. So let's say Devon was over there, and Shaniqua, and really it was a Shaniqua, and she drove me crazy, but we worked it out. Shaniqua was over there. And Shaniqua would get up and tell her story, and the kids was quiet as, you never saw our children so beautifully quiet. Shaniqua would tell what happened, so hit me, and she called my mama a hoe, and then, I mean, it's real stories, y'all. And she said mama a hoe, but I told her mama a hoe too, because I saw her mama, and you go through the whole thing, and they tell you the whole story, but you let them listen. And guess what, y'all? I didn't tell them what to do. I wasn't the one in charge. Do you know who gave them their advice? Was the children that sat in the lunch tables at the table. And the children would be like, well, you know, Mom, this is what I think. And they were so wise because they knew so much. And they would give this beautiful advice, and guess, this is the most best part. Not that the kids had the great advice, because they did. Their stuff was right on. And they got to raise their hand. I said, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And what do you think? Not only was it powerful in itself that they told them was able to give advice, do you understand that the kids took the advice and said, thank you very much, and we never heard a peep out of them again? This happened every day. They wanted to do African Village. Mama Nubia, we need to do African Village. Mama Nubia, we got to do African Village. I was like, okay, that's good. We're going to do African Village. Because this was beautiful. This was solving problems better than I'm not going to tell them to stand in the corner or they suspended. They got called. You don't want to call black mothers and fathers when they got to work all day. Because they mad. And they coming for me. Many of them wanted to kick my ass. I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Because they'd be like, did you call me up here? I see them coming through the schoolyard. Be like, oh, she want to kick my ass. This ain't even nice. But as soon as they sat down and they saw that I was like them, sister, I know the stress. I know this. Look, this is what we do first. We call you when we don't have no other choice. And then, of course, you know, black families, I love black mothers, they'll be like, you know, you can beat their butt, right? You know, you can't be like, you know what, school policy, I can't really put my hands on your baby, but thank you. I know that's a high honor. But it was sad. Because no black woman going to tell you to put their hands on their kids unless they think you are really loving their kids. So it was a high honor. Now, I would threaten them on my wife would be like, I'm going to kick your little butt. You better sit your little butt down. But I would never do it. And we solved so many problems. It was the most beautiful thing that I ever saw, that there was a sister that was working for me at the time. Her name was Tarika Lewis. She's actually the first black woman to ever be in the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And she lived in Oakland, California. And she said, Nubia, what you doing? Do you understand? This is amazing. Where did you get it from? I said, the ancestors, they told me, you know. Because I mean, I figure you don't have to know about Africa. You don't have to have been on the continent to not be an African. You know what to do. It's everything our parents did, everything your grandmother did, the way she just when you think that's not African? So I figure somewhere there must have been a counselor somewhere that sat there and you brought your problems to them. So I kid you not that it wasn't, I'm not exaggerating, it wasn't like they said, yeah, today is good, and then they go back and do the same thing. That problem never came up again. Never. And so the sister said, I remember seeing her years later, this is years after the program was over, the sister Tarika Lewis. And she said, Nubia, there's a school that actually, they coined your program. They called it something else. They didn't call it African Village. But it was the same thing, and they got money and funded to do exactly the same thing. And my husband was like, see, you should have got paid, girl. You should have got paid. It's like, you know what? I did get paid. I got to know that they could solve their own problems and we could have African Village. They wasn't thinking African. They were scared of anything African. Can you even their mother be like, and what is this African Village thing you're playing? I said, you know, it's not really a game, you know. It really works. We should think about doing this more. And so what I prepared the cheers for were, I believe that I was never alone. That there was nothing in the, you watch my YouTube videos, I'll say it. Look, y'all, I'm really thankful and honored that you're listening to the videos. And thank you and honor that you watch it. But I'll be talking to myself. Because I told you that I'll be like, Spirit told me in the bathtub, don't I? Spirit told me. And if you get something out of it, it's beautiful because I'm really not talking to myself. Because my womb is your womb and your womb is my womb. Like I get that. Like I never did before. And every day she said, you know, Sister Bianca was saying that, oh, Nubia, I watched her grow. I am growing, and I continue to grow. I don't know everything, but I'm sure saying like I do. I'm from Brooklyn. You better act like you know. You better act like you know where you're going. You better look in the direction. Don't act like you lost. Right. But it's in that spirit, it's the way the ancestors come anyway. They come that hard. We just push them down, tell them not right now. Y'all, do you know how many videos I put up and I go, dang, did I just say that? Oh my God, I don't know how they're going to take it. That was kind of bold. I really said it. And I have to play the video for my husband and be like, baby, I'll put it up first. Then I ask questions later. I'll be like, baby, I put that video. What you think? Nubia, you got to say it. It's in you. You got to say it. You just say it. The Spirit told you to say it. You just got to say it. Don't matter. They'll get it. Because I'm really about love. And so I had this idea that I was going to take, if we had more, or maybe we do, more teens, I was going to do like that kind of same African village concept where I was going to have 3 teens sit here and 3 elders sit here. Do we have 3 teens or 3 young people? Okay, 1 is good. I won't put you on the spot. I promise. Where you at?
We have one right here.
Come on, baby. Come get a front row seat.
Yes.
Come get a front row seat. And so anyway, so we'll put you all on this side. And do we have anybody that wants to, because I love being an elder. You see y'all, I let the hair go gray. I'm letting people know you want respect. I can get a little respect here. Is there anybody that would like to thank you, would like to take the seat of the audience? Thank you, Queen. Young elder. She said, remember that. Another one too. Get it right, Nubia. I am too young. I am too. That is perfect. That's beautiful. That's balanced. And so I want to say to you all that you matter so much. So it's not just me. And then everybody in this audience is as much of a healer as I am. And that's what I tell y'all all of the time. So before we started, you know, the drum was playing, I was feeling the spirit, and I was sitting in the chair and I said, Spirit, I do this every time. I do this before I do a video, I do it before I do a speaking engagement. And first, let me just say, it is so nice to be with sisters that you don't have to explain everything. Because I do speaking engagements, especially when I had kids and working in the hood. Oh my God, Mama Nubia, why you don't shave under your arm, Mama Nubia? Mama Nubia, you ain't got no bra on, Mama Nubia. I started wearing a bra when I started working in schools. Because the kids, especially the boys, it was off the chain. So I remember when the sister said, you know, get comfortable, let everything go. I wanted to say, take off your bras, the panties, take it all off. I was getting it. Forget the shoes. How many ladies, when you hit the door, the bra go off right away? I got a little something now. Don't worry, I might get it off before the night's over. But as soon as you hit the door, because that's like you're bounded. You don't want that. You got to deal with the stuff all day. That's what I'm about. That's why I don't always wear bra on my YouTube channels. Just if I'm feeling it. I'm in California, it's sunny. I get to get away with a whole lot more, right? But as many of you might notice, I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. I don't know if you can hear my accent. Okay, you can, so if you're confused. But I've been in Oakland, California for over 20-something years. And I really love the Bay. I love Brooklyn. I love everywhere I am. I love everywhere where black people are. So let's get this out the way. I love black people.
Yeah.
Okay. Love them. Especially black women. Like we are the bomb, we the ish, we the what, we the boom bams, but what for a young person, you run away from it. Like when we got out the house, I ain't gonna be a Christian because it was just, I didn't know how to be a Christian. But and the whole thing with the woman thing, it was just hard for me because I was raised in a household that we were so free that let's say, you know, we're 18, we're 19, we're 20, you get your first job and you don't like it. You don't like it because it's out and out not cool. They don't treat you right, they ain't paying you right. You know, I'm in New York. And for many you don't know, I mean, when I was coming up, most of the employers in New York were Jewish. People couldn't believe when I tell my man, in Brooklyn, we took Jewish holidays, the schools were closed. So that tells you who was running something, right? So I'm growing up, I'm in this environment where you just ain't treated fairly. So we run home to my mom and be like, her name was Marie in the house. And we called her Ree. She was cool, but we knew she was mom, y'all. Don't get it twisted. It was not that cool. And we would go home. Oh yeah, that's why people would be like, oh, you call your mother mom? We're like, no, I wasn't there. We called her Ree, but it was mom Ree, same thing. And we would go home, Ree, you know, this job is so unfair. We want to quit. She'd be like, well, quit. Okay. Why you like that job? Don't stay there. You get something better. She said it so much. My man ain't never met nobody like me in the life because I'd be like, you should just quit, baby. Just forget the whole thing. You know, to the point that I never had to really work a job. Except for once, when I first moved to California. And I had a job for 6 years. I worked for the state of California. I prepared people from earthquakes. Coming from Brooklyn was hilarious. Like what I knew about an earthquake. How do I get this job created? How? But I remember when my employer was Jewish. And I remember, I want to tell you about the insanity of the point that we could go to as black women when we're hurting. And you know when you hurt, let me tell you, you know when you're hurting when your boss, rightfully so, gives you a letter and he tell you to type it. You know what I told him? You type it. I'm tired. I ain't typing it right now. He was like, Nubia, did you get water for the clients that come in? No, you closer to the water than I am. Oh, it was crazy. It was getting crazy. Then he came to the front door and drummed that. He's like, you know, it's a little too noisy. You and Jamila was one other black person. Jamila, you and Jamila are talking. I said, you know, that's very funny because, you know, you and all the other white people, y'all get together. Okay. And y'all talk in front of the whole thing. I mean, I'll be trying to work in the front desk and everybody's talking, why is that? I said, do you know there was a law? It was a long time ago when there was 3 or 4 black people gathered. They considered that like, you know, you got to die. So I'm feeling like that right now. Do you understand, y'all, that the man did not, he would look and he'd get a little upset, he'd go in his room. I'm not lying to you, he'd come back the next day and say, I talked it over with Julie, that was his wife. And Julie said, you're right. Oh God, what the hell? Everything I said, we need to have a talk. Let's go in your office. That's what I used to tell him. We need to talk, let's go in your office. And I would sit there and explain to him why when you say that to me, it's different than when you say that to her. That hurts me, that this is where that comes from. I don't know what kind of relation we have, but it probably was some past life stuff. Yeah. Because he never fired me because when you work for the state of California, it takes an act of Congress to get rid of you. That's the real reason. I will tell you that. I figured that one out later on. I was like, oh, they probably want to fire me, but they got to go do the paperwork. They don't want to do all that. I'm the only black person. The only way but I said to myself, okay, this is getting a bit much, you know, like, I'm not happy. I'm not happy here, I'm not happy doing this. It was really the end. I remember the last year of my working career, outside of the home, I became pregnant. And I was with a Rastafarian. Oh yeah. Came with my hair wrapped every day. That wasn't like that before. Oh, yeah, he didn't say nothing to me those days. He asked me to type no letter. Nothing. Oh, I was red, black, and green. Oh, I was it. I was pregnant too. Pregnant and a Rasta. It was in this downtown Oakland, wasn't nobody looking like me. And I remember when he said that there was the policy that you could take your 6 weeks, what do you call it, maternity leave? Yeah. But in the state of California, they give you a whole year. But you don't get paid. You just get paid for the 6 weeks. So I stayed out the whole year, and I was invited into this Afrocentric community that showed me we could thrive, we could love each other, we could take care of each other. I had my baby at home, and I'll never forget that call that day. He said, Nubia, it wasn't Nubia then, it was Lisa. No, I did change to Nubia, but I ain't telling that one. I was him. He said, Lisa. Freak him out too bad. He said, Lisa, do you want to come back? I said, no, thank you. I was very nice. I said, no, thank you. I'm gonna figure out how to do this myself. I thought about it later on. I bet they party. Everybody was so happy. Like, that girl is out of here. It was beautiful. And I never turned back. Because every time I thought it was getting rough or I wasn't going to make it, like I said, you told my story, I was on public assistance, I had the EBT card, I was collecting a check, I was doing what I could do so I didn't have to go back there. My mind was like, that's my money anyway, okay? So you'd be like, well, what are you ashamed of? Oh, wasn't ashamed at all. They should be ashamed. I wasn't ashamed. No, it's hard to embarrass me. But it's hard to embarrass you. You say a whole lot of stuff. No, I know who I am. So, and I know this is temporary. You got to know your situation is temporary. Do you really think I thought it was going to be a welfare of my life? I didn't think so. I don't know anybody else. Hey, we're going through something right now. So my baby didn't even know. We're just going through something right now. But that going through something allowed me to do something. I got to get quiet. I didn't have to go to the men. It's exhausting trying to teach white people why you the way you are. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Come on. Thank you. I'm tired. I need to tell black people why we are in the situation we're in. I'm so tired. And then every time, hey, Nubia, Lisa, did you see the new Toni Morrison book? Did you read the new? After a while, I said, why I got to be the authority on everything? They said, well, we're so sorry, we just wanted to be included. I don't never gonna feel included. I'm the only black person here. I never feel included. But then I kept going back. It's not their fault. I have to find the self-determination in myself. When I got into that community, and them sisters was, no, you talk about not just having your baby at home. Some of them were having unassisted birth. You understand? No doula. No, them and they man. Read a book or two. Well, we always read books. We read books like crazy. And I knew I wanted the same thing. When I taught at Afrocentric schools and I saw those boys and girls, when they got out of the school, because sometimes the school only went to 8th grade, or they couldn't afford to have 2 or 3 children, and those are private schools. You have to pay out of your pocket. They would have to go back to public schools. They would skip 2 and 3 grades, y'all, and I'm not even exaggerating to you. When we have people come in like Brother Ronoko Rashidi, who studies the African presence in Asia. We had Ashwar Kwesi, his beautiful queen wife, that goes back and forth and takes people back and forth to Kemet. Y'all don't understand, my world opened up when I started working in Afrocentric schools. I said, we are so powerful. We are so intelligent. We are being dumbed down being in the system. Oh my God. Right? I said, oh no, ain't nothing wrong with us. And then they were black, you know, in the Afrocentric schools, every teacher, before you say a woman's name, you know, when we grew up, we said Miss, remember? Right, Miss Diane, right, Miss Bianca, right, Miss Bobby. You ain't never say, you better not say nobody's name and don't put a Miss in front of it. But guess where we got that from? In Afrocentric schools, you say Mama. Mama Nubia. People today still say Auntie Nubia. But you better recognize, I'm your mama right now. So when you have that, but guess what it does for the kids too? They want a mama. They want a mama, so they so happy when you could be their little mama. They hug you all day. Oh, yeah. And I loved it. I never not wanted that. I knew my position. It wasn't how smart I was, how clever I was. It was just a black woman's presence. That's all that they needed. There was a lot of kids. I was never get this one teacher, a white young woman. I think a lot of them get some incentive, like if they work in the hood for some years, they get some cancellation on the student loans. Yeah, because this was clear to me. I could see what this shit doing up here. Who's gonna go through all that? That's a lot, because them kids are smart. They know who to play. And I remember the teacher would come and be like, oh, my student, she kicks me and bites me. And who would let a kid kick you and bite you? I couldn't understand it, right? So the little girl, she said, I'm just going to send her to you. And I said, okay, send her over, because I want to see this bad chick right here. It was a big little kindergarten, I ain't gonna lie. That little kindergarten girl was big. I sat there and said, oh, wow, she kind of big. She will not kick me. It's not going to happen. So I sat her down. She had to suck a little thumb, but she knows she was bad. Don't let her fool you. I saw her. And I said to her quite clearly, I said, you will never kick Mama Nubia, will you? She said, never, ever. Never had a problem. You know what she wanted every day? She wanted me to hug her. That big old girl, I was rocking her, looked real silly. It's real silly. She's bigger than me. I'm little. And my thing is, I'm still little up here, and I'm rocking her, and everybody just looking. We had a ball. Her mama loved me. I loved them. I did so much work in that school. It's called Manzanita. It was in the Twomps. They call it Murder Dove. I wound up living there years later and almost got robbed. But that's a whole nother story. Look how life take you back around. You watch my videos, you'll know that. But that was a blessing in disguise, and you'll know that too. I tell you, I ain't mad at that boy that put that gun to my womb. That boy was good looking. And if he asked me for the $8, I would have gave him that and a lot more. I really wanted to know his story. Even though I knew it already. I wasn't mad at all. I mean this to y'all. It was like, I told somebody, you want to talk about meditation? You want to talk about going within? I had never been so present in my life than when he put that gun to my womb and he said, because I thought he was asking me for some money. And then he said, no, click, give me your money. I said, oh, there's a whole nother thing here. But the focus, he was like, so this is what we're going to do. You're going to you're going to put your hand in your pocket, and you're going to pull out your wallet. I said, okay. He said, you're going to give me your wallet? I said, okay. But I never, it was like, I might die, it might be over, but I'm cool with this. Like I surrender like I never did before. What else you going to do? I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even think of doing anything else. I said, let's be in the moment here. This is what they talk about, being here now. That title by Ram Dass, right? The power of now. I never experienced that like I experienced that when y'all had a gun in my own neighborhood, but I wasn't obeying the ancestors. And you have to get your attention. You know how you know you got a lot of work to do? They make sure you don't die right then and there. That's when you know, you be like, they ain't killed me. I got work to do. I wasn't listening. They told me to get out. I was trying to negotiate with the ancestors. Did y'all ever do that? You've been trying to negotiate. You're like, well, maybe could we do it later? Like, I know. So when I sat here in those chairs today and I asked the ancestors, I said, what do you want me to talk about? What is the message that you want me to give to the sisters? And they said, tell them to be bold. That you got to work on the throat chakra. That you are shutting it down because somebody going to get mad because you going to speak your truth. So when you get like that, just think of Nubia and the Jewish man and how I told him that he can write his own letters, okay? Just think of that. Just, you don't have to do it now because I don't want nobody losing their jobs. I ain't got enough room in my house, y'all. Then put everybody up. But, and I thought that today, I said, it's about being bold. And I know for black women, that's a very tricky thing. Right. Because being bold is perceived as the angry black woman, right? Speak, sis.
Well, the reason for that, you know, because they know if we are allowed to feel angry, then we will have enough power to create change.
We don't want to be that one, right? You don't want to be the one. She is the one, the angry black woman. Or, you know, I knew she was going to be like that. Or you don't want to make it bad for the one who's coming behind you. So you don't speak up. But I'm not asking you right now to speak up in your job because you don't have to. That was, I was on another, yo, I was on one, as they said. I was on one. You didn't say nothing more. And so, and plus I had my mother who really encouraged that. You don't like it, don't do it. Why would you do something you don't like? It sounds brilliant to me, but easier said than done. But it was pretty brilliant. You don't like it, why you do it? I don't know. It just was so sensible. I was like, I don't like it, I don't want to do it. What else am I going to do? I don't know. But Spirit got your back. When you think about that you don't speak, it's not you. It's not your words. It's not your message that you're not speaking. It's the message of the ancestors. And when they come to you to tell you to say something, do you think they don't got your back? Like, that's what I get. All I can think about is like Harriet Tubman. She said God told her. Did y'all hear that? She Nat Turner. He said God told him. But I mean, what else you gonna say? God told me. Hey, Christians should love that one. God told me to do it. Everybody okay? All right. Because this is real. Like, I was thinking, oh, God told me. God told me to do it. Ancestors told me to do it. That's why I do it. I'm more afraid of them. See, when you get robbed by gunpoint because you ain't listen to the ancestors, you start getting real clear. You be like, okay, I don't want that to happen. My husband said to me, it was so divine that you need to kiss that boy. Because that boy woke me up. It was that day. Because y'all know, coming up in Brooklyn, coming up in Oakland, coming up in Sac, coming up wherever you're from, you know that they kill now for no absolute reason. Because they jittery, because they on drugs, because they nervous, because they, I don't know. It ain't really about the taking of the money. There's something else going on. So the fact that he left me a lot, and in my neighborhood, he could have did it and everybody would have walked by, yeah, man, what's up? Nobody would even did anything. That's the kind of neighborhood I lived in. It's unfortunate. So I love black communities that love and care about each other. That's why I believe that it exists and that we can have it. But we have to use our voices. So start small. Maybe speak up to your husband, or speak up to your mother, or speak up, tell somebody something that I know something about us. I bet all people do it, but black people do it a lot. We will die with a family secret. It's the most amazing thing. Right? You hear me? We go to a funeral, something you hear, but it goes, Miss Daddy, my daddy. And we like, girl, we don't talk about that. Right. That's your daddy, he was a good man. And you be thinking, I don't look like him. And we look, we different. I look like that other man that came around every once in a while. Don't tell you the stories. Why do we do that? Because that hurts us in the end. We lose a rich past. Yes. I grew up, my mom was black American. I consider myself, I feel I am a black American. I'm going to tell you why. My father's a Trinidadian. I never grew up with my father, didn't know about my father. We were so messed up as a people, and we're going to work on this one, that we had segregated neighborhoods within black communities. So in New York, Caribbean people lived in Caribbean neighborhoods, and black Americans lived in black American neighborhoods. But everybody in my family knew my father was a Trini. My brother and my two brothers and my sister, they were both black American. We had different fathers. And I remember every time a Caribbean woman would come on and be like, oh, that's your auntie, ha 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 ha. Oh, it's making a joke. Oh, that's you a coconut, ha ha ha. How you think I feel? Like, but wait, I'm looking like y'all, we got the same mama, well, I gotta be the different one. So I never got to know my Trinidadian side because I didn't feel Trinidadian when I went there. I didn't know the food, but in the way I realized I did, so I'll tell you. When I turned 40 years old, I said enough is enough. My mother was dying of cancer. I told about family secrets and why we got to stop doing stuff. And I told my mother, while she was in the hospital, that I had this ticket to Trinidad and I was going because my thing was at 40 years old, I was going to wake up on somebody's island. That was my thing. And finally it was Trinidad. It was like, you know what? And a brother, you know life is good. I had an ex-man who said, I did you wrong. I wasn't good to you when we were together, so I want to do something for you. I want to buy you a ticket to anywhere in the world. I ain't even exaggerating. Wow. And he said, where you want to go? And I think I said France. He said, I'm surprised at you. I thought you weren't going somewhere black. And I said, yeah, you're right. He said, he was absolutely right. He said, what about the Bahamas? I was like, yeah, the Bahamas. Then he said, and I said, no, not the Bahamas, Trinidad. I want to go to Trinidad. He's like, okay, do you know anybody? I don't know nobody in Trinidad. Don't worry about it. We're going to Trinidad. Y'all, the ancestors were so good that I remember I had this ticket. I didn't know where I was going to stay, who I was going to stay with. And I went to this Ashby flea market. And there was a sister who came up to me and said, I remember you. 7 years ago, you told us your father was from Trinidad. She couldn't remember her. And you said you wanted to go. Guess what? I live in Trinidad right now. She wasn't even a Trini. And she said, I hope I see you again. If you want to go, let me know. Okay. 2 weeks after that, I go to a gathering of a black American sister that was married a Trini. Guess who's at the gathering? This same sister named Aisha, which is the same name of my sister. Aisha, we call her Aisha. She said, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. I really mean it. It never matter. I would love for you to stay with me. So on my 40th birthday, I woke up in Trinidad. I was in Arima, Dago Martin, Port of Spain. I was everywhere, y'all. But the place I liked the most was Dago Martin. They were African, y'all. They looked just like me. And I wound up going 6 more times, or 2 years, we'll talk about that. Met a man, and you know how that goes. I was finding that money, I was like, I think we can go back there. Let's try it again. I was there. And what I realized is the dasheen that we ate, the callaloo, the cassava, the breadfruit, it reminded me of the southern food that I had in North Carolina. It just, maybe we had yams or potatoes. It was the same thing. The way they cooked, how mom had the food, by lunchtime was the big meal. So at lunchtime, you ate your biggest meal, and at night, I was looking for dinner. They was like, dinner? Dinner? green. You can have some nuts or something. I was like, oh no, I ain't really that hungry. I had to adjust, y'all. But the whole vibe, the house, she cleaned the house. She loved me because I loved to eat. I loved her food. I always came back. They used to be like, oh girl, you lost size. That's what you call me, you got skinny. You lost size, girl. We got to put size back on you. I always came back nice and round and everything. Ate fish. I was all off the diet. There was no problem. And what I say out to say is, the ancestors have always been in my life. I could tell y'all 1,000 stories. But even through all of that, I still made mistakes. I still hooked up with the wrong brother. I still made mistakes. I still did the wrong thing. And I remember when I found my womb healing started with Queen Four. It started with, first I read Heal Thyself.
Yes.
And I turned a vegetarian the next day after I finished the book. Because I had never heard, I moved to Berkeley, California. Berkeley was very white, but very cool, though. It was hippie. I kind of was digging the hippie vibe. It was all right. And they knew about vegetarian, but ain't nobody told me it was some black people to write a book on vegetarianism. I was reading every white vegetarian book I could, and here this black queen from Brooklyn. I had to come to Oakland and discover Queen of Food. Marcus Bookstore, a black bookstore, Marcus Bookstore. And I got that Heal Thyself, and I read that, Heal Thyself, right. Read it, turned vegetarian, everything. Coming here, I was natural, but, I was working through stuff. And I have to say that, because I came to Oakland and we started, I don't know, me and my girl got a perm. And girl, I remember the sister was washing our hair, and my girl was next to me from Brooklyn, and she said, she talking to her other friend, and she said, yeah, the best thing black people ever invented, the best thing black people ever did was create the perm. I swear to God, after we got our hair done, we went home, went to a barber the next day, cut it off, and said, oh, no. We did a whole lot more than that. That's not, that you cannot define us by that, and that was it. I never did it again. But I met the Rasta after I turned vegetarian, because when you change your vibrational frequency, the ancestors know what you want and they know what you need. So they just keep bringing people into your life. But again, like I said, I messed up. I did things that messed me up. But I remember getting Sacred Woman. And in 2000, somebody introduced me to Sacred Woman. It changed my life. You want to talk about getting quiet? Well, first I was with a Rasta, and he never talked, y'all. I ain't even lying to your head. He said he was a minister. He never talked. He still don't talk. He don't talk. That's my problem. He was real quiet. He ain't talk, but he ain't talk that much. So I learned to be real quiet, because you had to be quiet around the house and everything. Everybody would come like, but it was cool, because I wasn't working. It was quiet. I was pregnant. So I went in. That's probably why Queen of Food book came in. Nobody else can do the dang book. Everybody gonna be like, girl, I had that book. I closed that book. Girl, that book was a lot. Because it is. But I was quiet. I had time. So I did the whole book. I still do the book. But I remember that the things that came out of my womb besides my beautiful baby. I found the book after my daughter was born, by the way. And this poem that I want to do for y'all right now, this poem, I didn't even know I was a poet. I knew I was a talker. It's probably the same thing. But I didn't know I was a poet. And this, I want to remember every word, so I'm going to do my best. So here we go. My sisters, don't you understand that every man you allow to enter into your sacred womb may be passing on all his tears, his fears, and his years of hurting you? Can't you recognize that although he may be fine, his line of communication may be stifled? Rifle, I felt like one was pointing at my heart, and the love I thought was in my heart got dropped. But it ain't him I'm blaming. My gaming and shaming is only aiming at me, so it ain't about insecurities, although I have a few. It's about you getting what's due. Young sisters, I can't tell you how much you should protect the womb so you won't wreck the womb. I don't care how much he makes your put you swoon. You asked him, is there any room? See, his sperm may have traveled to far off places, and his aces may be loaded. In 9 months, I don't want to see you bloated with lies that don't die, just hide. But they will resurface to the top eventually, so please don't drop everything. Looking for your daddy, I know, me too, but it ain't in him but you, so get a clue. You ain't too young to be asking questions. Don't always be letting him tell his side. Do he cry? Or hold everything inside? Now this is not a sin, but ask for references from his next of kin. See, true love never ends, so investigate the whole plate. Ask the baby mama what's the drama, and believe what she says. All may not be true, but believe me, she knows him better than you. Sisters, I'm almost through. I broke all the rules when I met that fool. So I ain't really trying to school. I'm just trying to get through. Just trying to get through. Oh my God, where did I get this information from? It was nothing I read, nothing I did, but it was everything I read, everything I did. And that's what I'm telling you, the power, when you see me on them YouTubes, you see yourself, that's why you're watching it. You see your own power, that's why you're interested, that's why you're paying attention. And that's the beautiful thing about it, that I love, Bianca, you said it and you don't, I don't know if you really knew, but she kept saying, that's what I want people to know. I never act like I know. I must have told you about me and my man, y'all. We breaking up, girl. I let him go because he don't give me. He don't get me out right. I'm on the rough. We ain't on the rough. We done. That's him now. We married right now. We got married. Because y'all was taking me. I know y'all was like, yes, she talking about, somebody said, you talking about 5 different men? Oh, girls, the same man, same man. Ain't no different one. Same one, same one. We working it out. We working it out. You gotta work it out. You gotta work it out. He's a good brother, too. He loved me. He loved me. I know, because I'm like all over the place. But I'm very hype. I do a lot. I'm little, so I can keep in between places. Can't nobody get in. And so, but I learned to love who I was. Y'all think that when I was growing up, I don't know if I was considered the cutest girl on the block. I mean, I didn't think nothing was wrong with me. People be like, oh, you black, you so black, you so ugly. I'd be like, who are they talking to? You couldn't even, and it wasn't no conceit thing. My mother didn't tell us we were ugly. She showed us books of Africa and who we were and where we come from. It never was in my mind. I understood something when I got out the job and I started being with myself and I was in an Afrocentric community. We educating ourselves, we employing ourselves, we birthing our own babies. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Something wrong with y'all. No. So you get your esteem is so built that you can't think that you're not something. And so I remember sitting there thinking about, wow, when your third eye opens, all the first eye, really, all the beauty and the magic and the things that you start to see about yourself, that's so ancient, you don't have to read a book to figure it out. It's so within you. And so I want to do this one poem because it's coming out and Spirit said do it right now. So here we go. Please let me remember the verse because it's been so many years. Okay, y'all? Can I do it, everybody? I speak through my first eye, never die. Because when I cry, my tears become a river and deliver blessings. I am first queen, seen? My love can never be mean, but long and strong. And no, you can't walk down that green mile that leads to my now. Nubia's my mother, and I shudder to think what color ink you would have to use to get through my canal. Don't smile. I live by my customs. I don't want to just lay down and you bust them. I will wait for those anointing oils and swirls of smoke from those frankincense you present at my door during daylight hours. And I will devour those fresh organic fruits you bought. And the cost would be no object because you would have projected your prosperity. Stare at me, only at the advice of my family. No, brother, you can't have me till you talk to my elders. Now, some of them are tougher than leather, but their hearts is as light as a feather. Can you weather the storm? Don't run to the dorm, because that is not what I'm talking about. Educate your mind and your time and forget the swines you pay tuition to each year. Don't get scared. Have no fear, because God Goddess isn't here. The Creator provides for you. So what are you doing in the white man's school? Oh, cool, you don't want to be no fool. So instead of you wasting your time on lies being fed to you, read to you, this stuff should be dead to you. Find out the truth, black woman. God Goddess is in you. So create your own destiny. Don't waste your time on the fluorescent lights. It takes away your bright intuition. Sisters, quick, run in the kitchen and prepare some fresh pressed juice and red roots, and remember. And then go further back to antiquity when it was impossible for us to lack for anything. I've been to the mountaintop and I have seen things that society tells you are only in dreams. I'm not trying to be mean, but we got to stay pure and clean. No fuss, don't cuss, because your uterus is not rough but soft like a kitten. If love ain't committed, then maybe your heart needs some fixing. Let's take the time to properly dine our bodies. Don't swallow everything because all ain't clean. Be aware, not scared, and love yourself from your feet to your hair. Sisters, I care. I really, really care, and I don't want to see you end up in no square box. Self-destruction has to stop. Sisters, just say not. Just say not. Am I good?
Yeah. We're going to take a little break about
okay.
5:30.
Okay. How long is that from now?
About 15 minutes.
That's perfect. Okay. That's good. So it's been a beautiful ride being in my body. I feel like that it's a reason why I started thinking about, you know how we look as girls. We grow up and we either look to our sister or look in the community or even look in magazines or media and be like, oh, I wish I was tall. I wish I was shorter. I wish I was lighter. I wish I was darker. And I realized something on a spiritual level. Ancestors told me, the body we come in is an indication of the work that you're supposed to do on this earth. Yes. The way, the color, the complexion, the hair, the physicality, it says something about what you're supposed to do. So trying and wanting to be anything but who you are is actually going to be ridiculous. It's the reason why it says that dancers were short, or dancers were small, or dancers were, it's the reason why basketball players are tall. It's the reason why you don't want to be what they are. You want to be what you're divinely meant to be on this earth that was put inside of you. So you don't have to think to yourself, oh no, I'm stressed, or my girl is so cute, or she got this, or why couldn't I have bigger breasts or smaller breasts or a bigger butt or whatever. I know black women want big butts, I get it. Well, I'm so big. I'm like, wait, that's not a bad thing. But it's not necessary. I used to have, well, I don't want no more. I had to let it go because then you start to realize that that's one level. But then you go to another level and you go, I'm not even this body. I'm not even what you see. It's more than what you see. I am spirit. Because that's who I connect with. When I'm telling you about spirit, I'm not saying something really outside of you. I'm saying it's the higher self. Everybody in here has a higher self that knows, that guides, that directs, that loves, that nurtures. You don't have to, you could be an orphan, you could be in foster kids, you could have a mama that didn't want you, but your higher self loves you. And with that, you have the ability to do whatever you want. Do you know why I love to do yoga? I do yoga. And you know why I love to do yoga so much? Because I don't need nothing but a floor. If I got a floor under my feet, I can do yoga. It teaches me that everything I need, I already have. Everything I need, I already have. There's nothing more outside of me. That's when I got bold enough. I'm bold when I'm on. Remember that I said that I started this off, that Spirit said to tell him to be bold? I'm bold because not me. It was my human self. I'm limited in the body. I'm bold because I know Spirit is so good. When we have tragedy or we have upsets or things don't go the way we planned, y'all got to stop thinking that God done left me or Spirit done left me or the ancestors done left me. That stuff is good. That keep you, keep you running. You got to have a little adversity. You do. I realize that you wouldn't want it any other way. Because if life was always going the way you wanted to, we'd be bored right now. Be like, dang, don't nothing happen in my life. There's something good happened in my life. Everything hurts a little. It hurt to be a vegan, going from meat eating to vegetarian to vegan to raw foodist. And I am a raw foodist. But as many of you know, you watch my YouTube, I done struggled with that one too. Y'all know I did. I be like, girl, y'all, forget that. I'll cook food now. Okay, what's wrong with cook food? And you know I'm good. I'll convince you to be like, cook food is good. Cook food is good. They lie. But let me tell you what happens in your body And what spirit requires, that's why we don't really want to change. Because every time you change, be like, Spirit, I listen, I don't eat the meat no more, okay? I done gave up the chicken. Spirit be like, well, give up the beef. You're like, damn, okay. I done gave up the beef, you know, give up the pork. So Spirit continues to keep asking you to go further. And sometimes you don't want to do it. And I may do it again, so you never know. But Spirit is merciful. When you're being required to change, it's because you have great work to do. We got to be like our ancestors. I just feel like they didn't think about themselves only. Think about when I talked about adversity is good. Think about the reason why, you know, we talk about, oh, we've been enslaved for hundreds and hundreds of years, you know. Why us? What happened? But I felt like we were enslaved, so we were closer together. We were closer to Spirit. I mean, somebody right, who sings in adversity but African people? We be down, but we gonna sing a song. We gonna sing a song and we gonna lift our voices high and we believe that the Creator's gonna hear it. We don't do that anymore. When we were together, when we were so-called segregated, we supported our own businesses. That's right. We had thriving communities. We didn't have to worry about no babysitter. You should have to ask your relatives, can you babysit my child? What about worse than that? You gotta ask your husband, can you babysit the child? That's your job. You're not babysitting. That's your job. We don't do it no more. Now we scared to leave our kids with people. I don't blame them. It ain't the same. But we got to get back to it. It shouldn't be that you choose motherhood over, let's even talk about that, over your career. You know how many people don't want to have babies because they be like, girl, I don't want to have no baby because I can't do this, I can't make my money. Why are we making it so hard for our young people? When we tell them they can have babies and be an executive, have babies and start their own business, have babies and create their own poetry, dance. Why do we do that? Why when our sons or daughters, especially our sons, what do we do? What if our son wants to be a dancer? What if our son wants to be an artist? Why do we tell them that they can't do it? Or man got to do this, or man got to do that? You know, Queen, where's that sister? Sister. She was telling me, I'll tell you, I remember that. We were talking about the role of the ancient times in Kemet, the role of the male and the female. It didn't always look the way that the Eurocentric patriarchal way of being. Sometimes the queen was the head honcho. She ruled, and he knew, and everybody was cool with it. She had the smart, she knew what to do. It was in her family, it was royalty, it was passed down. She leads. We got to stop putting our kids and ourselves in roles of Eurocentric values that don't fit us. It doesn't fit us. Why do we try? It don't work. So if you shouldn't have to have your babies and know that your auntie Nubia or somebody, Auntie Kai or Auntie Bobby or Auntie Bianca, I know some should say, don't be volunteering me, girl. Don't be volunteering me. I hear you though. I do. We're not going to say you no bad kids. We're going to say you only good kids. Somebody has to have them because if I'm a creatress, if I create, I don't stop at the baby. I got ice cream and my girl over here making cashew, raw nut, ice cream. She got a 4-year-old baby, but she still should be able to do both. We got to stop limiting each other and understand that we are all a woman. We are all, but not in one body. You can't be all now. Don't get stuck in the all. Right. Or the what do you call it? The strong black woman or syndrome? Superwoman.
Superwoman. Yeah, I ain't trying to be
Superwoman. You're going to lose every time. The odds are against you. So you don't want to do that, but if you had a community, only reason why I know is, y'all, I'm telling you, the community I was in, for 30 days, somebody came in and cooked food for me in my kitchen. If they couldn't cook the food, they brought the food to the house. I got 2 groups. I got a group called Wild Women Who Run with the Womb. They're virtual groups on the net. And I got another group that's an intensive I do. And I remember saying to the sisters, y'all should come into the group. Wild Women Who Run with the Womb. Black women is loving each other. Black women is supporting each other. You should have saw the comments about, well, I don't really like black females. Black females are messy. I've never had good luck with black females. But no, that's good luck because people have to leave their comments because you don't know.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool. I said, wow, I didn't know it was a big deal. I thought reality TV with the fighting, I thought that was every black woman has not, and it's okay. So we can stop it now. You mean every black woman has not experienced the love of another black woman simply because she loved you? See, I don't know that. I didn't know that black women were any more, if you're going to be this way, carried than any other culture. But it seemed like they really meant black women were not to be trusted. And even though I do remember my mom not having a lot of female friends. And so in a sense, she was kind of telling me that black women maybe were not to be trusted either. But it's a lie. I know it's a lie. I lived in a community that showed that it could be done. So I feel like we, as some people say, well, Nubia, you talk about African culture. Well, African women don't wear their natural hair. African women, so that don't mean you don't do it. I don't understand, black American, whether you Caribbean American, whether you Latino American, we here, we the new Africans. What's the deal? Why you act like you lead the way? You were here for a reason. You were born in America, came to America, live in America for a reason. Why you think that doesn't build? There's some strength involved in surviving an enslavement Holocaust. That's some strength. That's like amazing. How are we going to be tired? Not tired. I mean, I understand being tired because you're a single mother, tired or whatever that means, right? A lot of us, some are. Tired because you don't have people assisting you. Tired because somebody be like, girl, you had on them babies, you should take care of them. I remember doing a meetup in North Carolina, and there was a sister with 10 children. 10 beautiful children. She brought one with her, but she had 10. She was beautiful, tiny, she was amazing. And I remember, I looked at her and I could see she was shy, her voice, y'all. She didn't hardly want to talk. You could hardly hear her when she spoke. And I knew someone said, she don't feel good about having 10 kids. And it's not because she had the 10 kids. It's because other people probably say, girl, why you have them kids? Girl, that's embarrassing, girl. It's better you than me, girl. I could imagine, can you imagine that what they said? So I said that to her, I said, and did you experience? She said, yeah, she started crying. So I said, you know how when the drummer plays, everybody know. If you've been to dance class, you know, but if you didn't. And at the end, everybody dancing, the drummer doing their thing, they going off, they done called the spirits, you feeling good, and you get on that floor, the knees ain't that good right now. But, and you do this, I said, this is what we gonna do. We gonna get on the floor, every 25 women, and we gonna bow to this queen that just gave 10 minutes. And we gonna She cried. Because everybody should worship the womb of a black woman who gave 10 babies. How you gonna make fun of somebody that did that? Isn't that crazy? She wrong. But the one that, and it's okay if you don't choose to give birth to a child, because you give birth to so much as a black woman. But we should never make another sister feel bad for having lots of babies. That wasn't us, y'all, that would dole the child out if she was 15 or 14 that came in pregnant. Me and my husband talk about that. We didn't know after a while, the mom would be like, let her in, please. She come in too. Some kids wasn't your cousin. They wasn't even your relative, but you thought they were. We got to start bringing our children in and saying that they're okay. The worst thing you want to do is throw a child out for doing something as natural as getting pregnant. I had a sister call me today. She is we all close. I be friends with the exes, y'all, the exes family, exes wives. I like hanging out with the exes wives. It's the best thing in the world. People would not believe that. Like, you hung out? One of my best friends was the woman of the man that cheated on me with her. It was cool. Well, that's what we found out. Because see, we didn't know. He was playing both of us. And she was like, wait, you? And I was like, yeah, but you and we dropped him and we became great friends. She influenced me to be a real foolish. You gotta be open. Most women a lot of us being played, we don't know. Then why do we fight each other? I never understood that on the show. Kick his or what? But this young lady called me today, so it's my sister's ex-husband's daughter. Okay, it's my sister's ex-husband's daughter. Her name is Crystal. And her mother and father, they're having a hard time watching her grow. She's 21 going on 22. You talk about a solid sister. This girl got her natural. She likes black causes. She's doing very well. She's in college. She's doing very well. And just a great young lady. But you know, it's okay. Sometimes, you know, moms, it's hard to go to your mother and tell her what you want to do because sometimes we're too close to the situation. If you remember Sacred Woman, Queen Afua talked about building a community of sisters where if your daughter can't come to you, she can come to your girl. She can come to your other friend. We got to keep doing that because she don't have to tell me. Tell somebody that I trust. So she decided this community. She picked my sister and she picked me because she saw my YouTube. She was like, oh my God, that's my auntie. And then she called me. And so I'm going to tell you the situation, and please, y'all, don't do this. Because it's going to hurt our community if we continue. She is 21 going on 22. She is dating a man who's 12 years older than her. Now let me just say to you, that ain't nothing. I dated one 28 years older than me, so I thought she was doing pretty good. I'm doing 12 years, that's about right. Take women a little longer to mature, sound great to me. If you knew her, you would be cool with it. You would be like, you know what, this ain't that bad. It's like, oh my God, you're dating that old man. Oh my God, you can't do it. Well, and she's like, look, this is the daughter. Why don't you meet him? This is kind of cool. Why not do shit because you meet him? Why don't you meet him? And I won't even be in the house. Well, why don't you have a conversation with the man without me? Now, that's beautiful, isn't it? Like, she doing all the right things. I ain't gonna lie to you, Mom. This is what I'm doing. Get to know him. He sounds like a do-right brother. I like the brother. I didn't even meet him, but you know, you can hear you like him. 12 years, like I said, she's so mature. She's still in school. He encouraged her to stay in school. I don't think he, the cherry was not popped by him. That's what I'm trying to say. She already been doing it. Okay, just keeping it real. So people won't think like, oh, well, he got influence. No, she was, you know, she's a woman. Let's put it that way. And I said to him, and the mother and them having a fit, well, you can't talk on the phone in my house, and he wanted to take her away for her spring break, and you can't get away. First of all, I'm a Trinity. They Trinity too. That some young girl is with 10, 12, that's cool. Yeah. I've seen 20, 30, 40, and 50 years old, and I've seen it in the South. Coming up in the South, my grandmother was 14 years old when she had my uncle. So what are you saying? It's not like it's the most unusual. I mean, let's just, why do we act like we're like this Puritan? It's just messing us up. Why do that to your daughter who is going to leave your ass and never come back because you didn't accept without even knowing him? Wouldn't the African thing be to invite the brother over? He's willing, he wants to talk to you, he likes her. So what you gonna do? She said, Nubia, I was with guys my age, they used to put their hands on me. Is that better? But I understand his parents. You know, because my husband said, well, I don't know how I would feel with somebody coming in with being my age. He's 12 years older than her. He ain't your age. Okay? He ain't your age. He's 12. I mean, he probably could make a baby at 12. But the odds is he's not old enough to be her father. Right. He's not. But even if he was, let me just say, this is hard. I ain't talking about no 17 or even 18. No, you can't come in being old enough to be my father. I'm going to have something to say. I'm talking about a 22-year-old young lady who is on her JOB, who is honest with you. I'm saying to you is, why are we so hypocritical? I mean, I said to my man, if my 19-year-old daughter right now came home with a guy 12 years older than him, let's sit down. I don't have no problem with it because if he with my daughter, he must be a good man. If you did your job, he was probably a good brother. I don't have a problem with him. Maybe hopefully he got something too. I mean something up here. Because that's what the brother seemed like. He educating her. He's telling her who she is. He's giving her something. We got to keep our families together, not apart. And when you don't, we're talking about teens, we're talking about young people, we're talking about adults, we're talking about mother-daughter relationships. You cannot do that to your children. If you're, like I said, if your son comes in and want to be a dancer, I know that freaks a lot of parents out. Because you think of your son is masculine. I ain't talking about no hip-hop dancer. So, but when we want to do ballet, I know, this is funny, it's something to think about. You better let him do it, and you better be in the front row, cheering on.
That's right.
That's your baby. And now, so I know 15 minutes is close, so
That's okay.
I just wanted to say that, like, when I heard that story, I asked her too, because my sister's in Brooklyn. I said, Crystal, what did my sister say? We in the same mama now. She said, your sister said, as long as he's good to you, same thing I said. See, in my house, I dated older men. I was old, y'all. You know, I know how many of you feel like they old souls? Yeah. So you know, when you're an old soul, you can't give him no little boy. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to say. You bored. You talking about the game last night. Him and his boys went to McDonald's. You're bored. You like, this fool talking about McDonald's. I'm talking about the unification of our people. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about unification people. I knew the story. Now what I think is Mama knew she had somebody older than her. Stop it. I know Mama did. You can feel it. You can feel it in your bones. I know Daddy had somebody her age, so that was already out in the open. I think we get scared because we look at our own lives. And so let me say, in all fairness, mothers, because I'm one too, you get scared. It's normal. You don't want them to have the life that you had. That's what we say, right? I want them to have a better life. Don't think because the choice might look like yours, it got to go the way. Maybe it's not the choice you made. Maybe it wasn't support you didn't get around the choice that you made. All right. Because I know my mother was an artist. And my mother was strange. Remember, she didn't believe in Jesus Christ. But my grandmother, somebody asked me, oh, your grandmother died. What was her religion? I said, religion? Wait a second. She didn't never talk about no Jesus. We had no religion. They don't know about that. So I don't know why they was mad at her, but, you know, she didn't go get a job. Everybody in my family had engineers and school teachers. My mother was into, meditation and art, and she was a fashion designer. Oh yeah, it was serious in my house. You could not go outside and not have your stuff together. And we ain't had hardly nothing to eat, but we was looking good. Oh, she got nervous when you came out. I remember I brought my ex, he's a Rasta, and he's from California. You know y'all know New York. Yeah. Californians, we laid back, y'all. Everything don't really have to match, you know. And think about that Berkeley kind of vibe, that's some extra. Like, that's like, and he Rasta, and he came, I'll never forget, he came through the door, and she said, Lisa! I said, what the hell? My mama called me from the back room, Lisa! She said, Nubia. My mother respected, oh, she didn't get name changes, she called you whatever you say you want to be. No problem. She called me Nubia to the day she died. Nubia, Nubia, he can't go out like that. You got them shirts with the shoes. You can't go off the shirts and the shoes. Nobody go. She had a fit. I one time I said, my mom was concerned that your outfit is not going to work in Brooklyn. You probably, she wants, we can go shopping, Nah, that don't matter. I'm Rasta. He gave me the Rasta speech. Right? Rasta no deal with that. Rasta no deal. Okay, Rasta mom. Okay. Yeah, he went up in Rasta land. He went up in Flatbush in Brooklyn. Church Avenue, if you don't know the street, you'll know it. Big Caribbean community. He said, yeah, I went out with Rollins, my sister's boyfriend at the time, Trinity. And yeah, he said a brother came to me, looked me up and down, and started laughing hysterically. And he said the funny thing, he was Rasta. I said, Rasta's here dressed, y'all, insane. And when he came home, and my mother said, look, I already saw it, I sized him, I bought him some pants, a shirt, I got him some shoes. Oh yeah, they worked it out for the brother. He wasn't wearing them clothes no more. But that was her art, that was her gift. Like I grew up with sketches around the house, sewing machines. But my mother, and then we did, we would do, I remember reading stuff like Seth Speaks, 3 Magic Words. We learned about metaphysics. I mean, our life I would say it was cool. I didn't know it was cool. It's cool now. And I know, but my mother still died at 57 years old. That's young. Yeah. That's young. And my mother died of lung cancer. So we talk about the throat chakra, not speaking her truth. She was way ahead of her time. There was nobody to talk to. We don't want, this is what I want with the new generation, the new metaphysicians that's sitting in the room today, that's sitting here today. We have to be around each other. We have to support each other so we don't look like we out there somewhere by ourselves and wondering, you know, who we could talk to. Nobody understands. We got to be different parents than even our parents. They would want that. We got to listen to our kids, not listen them telling us what to do. That ain't never going to happen. Okay? But we got to listen to what they say and what they're not saying. You don't want to lose your daughter because her man is 10, 12 years older than she is. I would not want to do that. So I just, I want to say thank you. We'll take a break because I know it's break time.
Okay.
I just want to say